Hello, my name is Rick Graft. I have been associated with the Twin Cities, Minnesota chapter of the Red Cross, and I've been a volunteer for 8 years. I'm also an instructor of the IRV, both Legacy and NextGen.
And I'm Diane Dunder. I'm a volunteer for the Northern Minnesota Red Cross in Duluth, Minnesota. I've been a volunteer for 17 years. I am also an IRV instructor for both Legacy and NextGen.
Diane and I have produced this video in order to feature the unique elements of the NextGen version 3. There are 3 version 3s in Minnesota.
Many IRV drivers have had the opportunity to be oriented in versions 1 or 2, but the first version 3 was delivered to Minnesota in March 2020. Unfortunately, some of the training materials and job aids have not yet been updated.
Whereas these changes are fairly simple, they are not necessarily intuitive. Our goal is to identify and explain the more important ones in order to share with all NextGen IRV drivers to save them time in learning how to operate NextGen version 3. We can also use this video to train new drivers.
If you deploy, you may be driving a Legacy IRV or any of the 3 NextGen IRVs. There are a few obvious differences between NextGen version 1 and 2 compared with version 3. Versions 1 and 2 have keys, 2 serving windows, 2 serving seats, and a loading ramp for Cambros. Version 3 is keyless, has only 1 window, 1 serving seat, and no loading ramp. Some of the electronics are different also. Now we will present these differences. A picture will be shown and we will narrate the unique features we wish to explain.
Starting and shifting. The engine start and stop button to the right of the column is pushed in 3 steps. Step 1 turns on the accessories, including the windows. Step 2 turns on the ignition, including the air conditioner and the 4 lights on the main panel. More on that later. To turn off the air conditioner, hit the small black button on the AC control panel over the header. Step 3. Foot on the brake and push the start button a 3rd time and the engine starts. Note, there is no battery to turn on. Shifting gears. The shift lever is on the right side of the column. Transmission position is in the middle of the instrument display: park, reverse, neutral, drive. Put it in drive, keeping the foot on the brake. Go back to park, you press the button at the end of the shift lever. For neutral, you press the button at the end of the shift lever to prevent rolling. Reverse, you raise up the shift lever, and then to engage park, press the button again at the end of the shift lever. Interior and electronics. This picture will show you the cockpit. This next picture is the overhead control panel, the light switches, i.e. the left-hand reading light, and emergency buttons, which I'll discuss later. This picture is the instrument display and onboard computer. You will see mileage, miles driven, fuel and DEF levels, outside temperature, and the clock. The instrument cluster is where you see the warning and indicator lamps, i.e. warning lights. Next, the main electric panel. It's located on the inside of the passenger seat base, and it is the 12-volt DC power. The 4 lights will illuminate when step 2 of starting is performed. There are also fuses if needed. Next is the inverter electric panel. It's also located on the inside of the passenger seat, and this is for 120-volt AC power. Once the inverter, or the SAMLEX power, is turned on, all 4 lights will illuminate. The outlets can be energized so they are functional, and there are also fuses in this panel as well. The USB outlet. It's also located on the inside of the passenger seat base. It's 120-volt AC, and it also has USB ports for charging devices, such as cell phones. There are also 2 USB outlets in the back cabin area. The SAMLEX power control panel for the inverter is located over the lighting control head. Push the red button to turn it on and off. When on, all 4 lights in the inverter electric panel will illuminate. Be sure to turn off when finished using. Checking the engine fluid levels and other menus. The oil level is not checked under the hood. There is no dipstick. Instead, you look at the instrument display in the onboard computer. We operate the buttons to display those features. The onboard computer and instrument display. This is an overview of the buttons on the steering wheel. The menus are Service, Assistance, Trip, and Settings. The touch control square button, if you see it, it is square, you swipe it, and it's very sensitive, and then you push it to select what you want. The left is Service, including oil, DEF, and coolant levels displayed in the instrument display. There's a back button and a main menu button, and trip equals miles, of course, and then you can go back to home. And then below is the button group for cruise control, and these are just standard settings.
Lights, lighting control panel. There is a pad of buttons located above the windshield, just above the overhead control panel. There are 8 buttons to activate lights, both interior and exterior. Scene lights are on the outside. Scene means scenery. Local driving, there is no need for scene lights. Be sure to turn off when finished using. High idle is used to charge auxiliary batteries, and it kicks in automatically when needed. There is a lighting control information panel to the left of the button pad to explain each button. However, the terminology does not match, so see the comparison grid of terms on the clipboard. There is a rear strobe light mounted over the rear doors. There is a toggle switch to the left of the steering column. Rear warning switch toggle switch activates the strobes. Strobe light indicator illuminated or not. Located on the overhead control panel on the left, breakdown assistance notification goes direct to Mercedes. Do not use in the lower center. Red SOS button notification activates the police or fire department.
DEF is diesel exhaust fluid, and the level is displayed in the instrument display. It is an exhaust gas treatment and is needed. There is a warning light, and if it comes on, it's very critical to pay attention to it. That means the level is getting low. And when it's displayed, you only have 16 more starts that are available before you may do damage. You can purchase DEF, and the refill tank or the filler cap is under the hood, or you can take it to a certified dealer. Use the spout to prevent splashing, and it's very corrosive, so please wear gloves. And you do not put this in the fuel tank, and you don't store in the ERV. Shifting pedals. You can see these little buttons. It's considered a semi-automatic transmission. On the left is the minus lever, and you shift when going up or down hills. On the right is the plus lever, and that shifts you into a higher gear, like if you're on the interstate. You look at the instrument display to see what gear you are in.
Backup view. The backup camera is located within the rear view mirror on the inside. The blind spot does not display the back edge of the vehicle. You must always have a spotter even when using the backup camera. The rear seat, serving window, and sliding door. There will be a light on the dash if the sliding door is open. There's only one seat, and it can only be occupied on a level 3 DRO or higher or on an established feeding route. There is one serving window. The latching system has the latch in the middle of the window at the bottom to open and then push the window out.
Reviewing the back end. On the running board at the end is the hide a key, meaning there's a spare key. You pull off the cover. You basically put 2 hands on the bottom of the cover, you pull back and up. To reinstall, you put 1 hand on the top and you push down while lifting up the bottom and pushing it in. You pull out the little drawer and you'll see the key. The rear door and latches. The right door does not open as wide as the left rear door, and you close the left door before the right door. And there is no ramp system in version 3. How to jump start, and you won't have to do it very often. The starting battery is under the floorboards on the driver's side, and it has very limited access. Therefore, they have a positive jumping start terminal under the hood. It's this one. It's the round red knob to the left of the brake fluid tank. You rotate it to the right and push it in and you hold it. It is spring loaded. You put the jumper cable clamp on it and it'll hold it. Clamp horizontally. The negative is clamped to any metal, i.e. the hood hinge. Also see the jump starting steps on the clipboard for the sequence of clamping to follow. The auxiliary battery is under the hood. Do not access it. It can't be jumped. It provides power to the onboard auxiliary systems.
GPS. First screen is the warning screen. Hit agree. It comes on with step 2 of the starting sequence. Second screen is a picture of a truck and dimensions. Ignore this and hit select. The display is where to and view maps. The GPS can be turned off with the button in the back and unplug it when not in use as it drains the battery.
Fueling. This vehicle is diesel fuel only. You open the driver's door to access the fuel door. In some of the versions, there is a fuel angel. It's an insert, and if it's there, it prevents a gas nozzle from being inserted. Remember, there are 2 sizes of diesel nozzles. You use the smaller car diesel nozzle, and the larger size is for large trucks, usually found in truck bays. When you're at a half a tank, please fuel up. And we also have diesel fuel anti-gel, which is needed when the temperature is below freezing.
Securing cambros. There are tie-down straps that go around the cambros and across the tops. Engage the hook and use the ratchet handle to tighten the strap and secure the cambros, one at each end. To retract, disengage the ratchet by pressing the red retract button. Caution, this device is spring-loaded. Do not let go of the metal hook while retracting. Visor contents. The visor above the driver should include registration, insurance identification card, element fuel and maintenance card, PIN number, accident report, CLC lodging card, and instructions.